first of all, as you can see, is it a suit or a tie? Now in a Chinese collar, just like our guest for the day. Speaking of, our guest for the day is one of the richest and deepest of India. His name is Laban-Cliff Onserio. Right now, he's the deputy director of the President's Delivery Unit, Executive Office of the President. Kama ujui the Big Four agenda, he's part of the team that is making that come into fruition. Before that, he was a business journalist at NTV, and before that, he was a business journalist at CNBC. So I wouldn't say so much about him, but I think he loves bananas. That is something that I've been trying to find out. So just tell us something small from my theory.
Sorry, Eddie, I tell you about what? My love for bananas.
No, yourself and your love for bananas, if you have a love for bananas.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. Zero Chills TV. It's an honor and a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, forget about the big titles. I mean, I'm just a simple journalist who's trying to make a living in this country. It's been an amazing time at CNBC and TV. That's why I trained, by the way. I trained at CNBC. So mine was not at TCG, just straight out of campus into a job. No. I had to go in, learn the ropes, especially seeing that I did not do journalism. So it's always been like trying to learn on the job. And by the way, I should mention, I worked for free for 6 months. So I earned my stripes, I must say. So I always get this concern. Hey, how did you get CNBC? How did you I'm like, hey, you put in the donkey hours, I must say. So, and a good opportunity. After which then, of course, I joined NTV and been there for like 5 years. And then after NTV, then I came into government. So kind of just trying to get a different feel in what I do. So good to be here.
And it's interesting that you brought the thing about people asking about what did you do to get to CNBC, because especially for the young people today, some of us say that you need a lot of connections to maybe make it to the media industry. And even before you get to what you're doing right now, the President Delivery Unit, how was the journey for you before you broke into media?
So I had a chance of going into HR. That's what I started with. And then I got feedback about my personality and what I can actually do, which was communications, PR, consultancy. So looking at that, it's been a very deep season to actually think, engage, and stuff like that, you know? So what I'm thinking about now is to try and use the opportunity I have to learn. So people always go in and say, okay, me, I just want to go in and like get a job, people go in with an expectation. So personally, I was happy that I managed to go in without knowing anyone. I just printed out my CV and my cover letter and walked in and gave it to the recruiter. And I gave it to the recruiter and I told the recruiter, hey, here is my CV. I'm sorry, to the bureau chief for CNBC at the time. And then I wrote her name and I said, hey, please, I need you to call me and have a chat. So when you go there, people will say, I want to be paid X number of thousands. But I went in there saying, I want to learn. So many young people are zile za, ai, apana, mi nataka kwenda kupata job. No. Me, I said, I want to learn this stuff and I want to learn from the best. And at the time, of course, CNBC was the best. We're broadcasting across Africa. I can't say it was the best, sorry. It was the best Pan-Africa business news channel. So we were broadcasting across Africa. So we have all that engagement and stuff. So it was just amazing.
Interesting. Because now something else that has caught my attention is the fact that you're saying at that point, all you wanted to do was learn. And the past week, we've been talking about Art Cafe and how they're trying to pay people with exposure. So do you support people, say, interns working for free, especially in the media industry? Because remember, you still have to eke out a living, to support yourself, maybe for transport, rent, and especially right now that life is a bit more expensive.
What is the essence of an internship? You're there to learn. you're there to have an opportunity to grow yourself. You're there to apply the knowledge you had in school to sustain. Now, what happens? Guys come in with an expectation. You want to be a news anchor tomorrow. It cannot work. It has never worked. Okay. You have to come in and learn the ropes, learn camera work, learn reporting, learn how to interviewing skills and stuff. Before I became a news anchor, I used to clean earphones for the guests coming into studio, for them to understand. I mean, for them to, of course, sanity. I mean, making sure, I was about to say sanitize. No, but just to make sure there's a bit of hygiene in terms of the equipment and stuff. So imagine my work was just to clean. Like I was just coming to studio, clean the earpods, fit in the guests and stuff, and position the camera properly, and off we are. So if you're coming with an expectation to make money, then you're the wrong industry, because ideally you come in to learn and then now apply the skills and get somebody to pay you for what you have learned. We're not saying that when you're going for internship, a company should be mean to you. Some companies are very good. They give you transport. They give you an opportunity for transport. They give you an opportunity to a stipend. It's not a salary, it's a stipend. And what happens is that between 3 to 6 months, it's considered that you're learning, because legally speaking, a company cannot put you on an internship for more than 6 months. You get? So there's that balance out there.
Yeah. Now, still in the same breath of learning and just in the media space about learning, there's been this growing trend by media houses to hire celebrities. Yet, say, for instance, myself or Yergon, I've gone to school for over 6 years to specialize in this industry, like you did at CNBC. But then when you come to Kenya, you find that they're hiring celebrities, say, to present news, maybe to host shows, and yet as the people who have been trained professionally are not getting the jobs.
Guys, the jobs are not all media students are gonna get media jobs out there. That's number one. Look at what we're doing. I mean, online has created a plethora of opportunities. You do not have to walk into that media house and get that job. That cannot work. It has never worked before. You get? So what I advise is there's a big opportunity that has been created in the digital space. Remember, jobs are being wiped out. So the traditional media jobs are no longer going to be there, So if you have that notion that, it's not all media students are going to get jobs, you're going to be innovative. You're going to go on Facebook Live and you're going to have an opportunity towards learning about algorithms, which is what Facebook uses to advertise to you. And you're going to create companies, digital companies, to actually grow yourself, So I'm trying to just pick guys out of this mindset that jobos, you have to go sit and you're going to be operating a camera. Can I tell you a story? I went to CNN in London about last year, and I went to visit the studios. Now, remember, in the studios at the time when I was a news anchor, we used to have like about 3-4 cameramen operating the cameras, and then, of course, you're in front of the camera. Now, at the time I went to CNN, there were robotic cameras. Listen, robotic cameras with one producer operating the cameras on a CNN live production from the behind the scenes. Now, you imagine if that thing of course, they're very expensive and stuff like that, and it's not all media houses that can put in those X millions of money to invest in such a camera. But I kid you not, if I was with my cameraman in that trip in London at CNN studios, they would come back to Kenya and they will try and rethink about what exactly do they want to do apart from camera work. So the industry right now is not going to be a one-sided approach. It's going to be a multifaceted skill set that you actually need.
Yes. Just like you are a trained business journalist, but at the moment you are working at the presidential delivery unit, right? So how do the two come together? I know you are the communications director, but you are primarily trained in journalism. How is the experience for you, and how do the two come together?
As journalists, we had pole position into telling the stories. So you're basically at the front row seat into a lot of the stories. So even as a news anchor and business journalist, I was covering a lot of government news, budget, treasury sort of thing. Like there's just a lot of news you're in touch with, especially dealing with government. Now, government was embarking in a Big Four agenda. I must just speak about the Big Four agenda because that's what is quite critical at this time in terms of just enhancing us to go into the next level of economy that we hope to do. So the Big Four agenda is a 4-pillar aspect, which is, UHC. This is universal health coverage, which is very critical at this point, especially now that we're seeing about COVID-19 and how we can actually access healthcare to the remotest of places. Housing, you're looking at, an opportunity towards creating manufacturing and increasing double-digit output onto it. So there's a lot that we're actually trying to push out there. And personally, ideally, it is more on the, more on just creating that opportunity, creating that environment and stuff for Kenyans to understand what exactly is going to lead or take us there for that matter. Of course, we can say that with COVID-19, it has kind of changed the targets that we'd had for the presidential term. But I feel that the Big Four agenda is quite pivotal and critical to enhance the growth of the economy at this time. I must give a shout out to Eileen because I think even at the time I was doing my fellowship in London, I took a picture of the BBC newsroom at the time, and just said, this is the newsroom of the future. And she shared that. And actually, I must confess that, there's a media house that is also trying to come up with the newsroom of the future. So it is not all lost. There are big things coming in Kenya. So, of course, technology shift takes a while to be adopted. But Eileen, being the newsroom of the future,
So Eileen Atieno Mboya, shout out to you from Laban and Richest TV. Now, Laban, it's a really big opportunity for you to work at a prestigious role at the executive office of the president. Such opportunities don't come easily. How did you position yourself? If you could look back when you were younger, what would you say that gave you that extra edge, to be able to be in a favorable position to fight for such an opportunity?
I must say that we go through a lot as young people. I'm still young, by the way. I don't consider myself old. I mean, it's just a guy who's just starting out and trying to figure out life, right? So what we lack is the confidence. There's a lot we have done. There's a lot we've done in school. And remember, even what you're doing in school and whatever you're volunteering, that is still experience. But we never, I think what you need to do is find out what you're good at and get somebody to pay you for it.
Yes.
That's actually something I really, really always want to, because so that it makes it ensures that no one takes advantage of you, and you always do your best to make sure that you're in pole position. You're like in a good opportunity. You're in a good place. You are learning. You're meeting people. You're networking. You're not just sitting there. Applying for fellowships. Personally, I must say, what changed was that fellowship that I did in Oxford, that kind of, I brought in ideas back home. So bringing those ideas, you open up your mind. I don't say you have to travel to London, I keep shouting about Kigali because you can take a bus drive from Nairobi to Kigali. And I did a story about East African integration and how easy is it for us to integrate as East Africans. Go out there, listen. How do the Ugandans think? How do the Burundians think? How do the Rwandese think? And then try and amalgamate all this. So it opens up your mind. So you don't have a feeling of, I've applied for jobs in Kenya and I can't get any jobs in Kenya for that matter. So personally, I feel networking, open-mindedness, having that, and of course being confident. I have to give a shout out to Larry Mado because I worked with him at CNBC and I worked with him at Nation Media Group. And there's something we kept on saying, because normally before you go on air, you get tensed. You get a bit worried. You're like, okay, will the script go okay? And stuff like that. And then he kept on joking and saying, with confidence, you can get away with murder. Anyway, not to scare anyone. I mean, we don't want to cause any
Yes, yes, yes.
death, but it's just showing you that look somebody straight in the eye. You're not lying to them, but you're just telling them, hey, this is
Yes.
what I believe in. This is what I can do, and just give me an opportunity, and I will
Yeah.
deliver. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you're delivering, we are hoping, especially in parts of the Big Four agenda. Now,
Well, it's upon the Kenyans,
I have a
upon the Kenyans to judge. But I mean, is the passion there? The passion is definitely there. So I'm definitely sure there's gonna be some impact on the
yes,
ground. Yeah.
yes. Now, Laban, what is your biggest lesson that you've learned for in this year, all the years that you've been in the media industry? What has been your biggest lesson so far?
uh, humility, and not everyone is your friend. What it means is there's a thin line being on TV and being a celeb,
Yes.
or being a journalist and being
Yes.
a celeb. So I feel like for the first few years, I confused that. So I was judging the number of followers I have on Twitter with the number of people who maybe liked me or wanted to be with me, for that matter. You get. Then you realize, by the way, no one cares. All they care about is the quality of what you produce. Even if you have one friend, even if you have that one friend, no one
Yeah.
really cares. The only person that cares is that person who is consuming your content and what they actually think about it. You get. Yeah,
Yes.
simple put.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be humble. Not everyone is your friend. Just understanding that you really need to dig your feet in the ground, which means research on the
Yeah.
stories. Make sure if you're going on air,
Yes.
you are conk sure about what you're saying. Whatever you're writing, you're
Yeah.
very sure about what you're saying and stuff like that. So all these are very critical. They are very, very, very critical.
Yeah.
To actually ensure that it's actually delivered. So there's a big opportunity across on that.
Yeah.
I'll tell someone, be humble, and make sure just make sure you know your stuff. Just know your stuff.
Just know your
And
stuff.
let me tell you, just know your stuff, because the online community is gonna be very, very ruthless if you're just there because she was good looking, or because he had a good voice, perhaps, or because he knew somebody. That's why he's there. Those things are just non-essentials. When you're at the front row seat, and that's what it means being a journalist. You are the front row seat in knowing how things are going. You really, really have to push the envelope and make sure you're among the very, very best. Thanks, Humphrey.
Which is interesting that you brought up. Which is interesting that you brought up that fact up about being the very best, especially now we are living in a fast world. Say, for instance, in this online community, there's so much information that is being spread rapidly. And say, even for you, people who are working in the media, in the president's office or working in the media, sometimes you find that things that you did not even plan to release, somebody has already leaked them. What is the responsibility as us as young creatives or young media journalists who are coming up, to be at the forefront, to be the ones who are discarding the correct information?
I'd say, first of all, learn. So learn as much as possible, because you don't want to speak about something you don't know. So if it's about reading books, which is something I need to also, take up a bit more, perhaps reduce on the computer time and maybe get a book and read a lot. That should be critical. Learn. I realize maybe it's something amongst the youth. There's a lot of competition. Everyone is just striving for that.
Yes.
Everyone is striving for that end game. Everyone is striving for that finish line. But there isn't any cohesive and networking and creating the opportunities. You get. Just right now, I'm at Baraza Media Lab. You can see, this is the Semabox. Semabox is just a podcasting.
Semabox.
So Semabox is trying to do something about podcast. And we're trying to, guys, podcast is the next big thing. So how can we look at an opportunity? So apart from learning. Number 2 is partnerships. And number 3 is just trying to look for opportunities and ways to showcase yourself. And the ways here would mean, there are lots of youth events, but the problem is you have lots of youth events, and then people are just always at the front stage, dancing away, and then forgetting about networking. In all the youth events I went for, I was always at backstage, because at the backstage you're going to meet the CEOs, you're going to meet the producers, you're going to meet the DJs, see how they're preparing, how they get on stage, how they do it, how they control their mics and stuff like that. Is why these gigs were for free. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit old on that. A few of us, but if you remember, there used to be an oxygen party. I think it was an oxygen party, or just a youth, it's a chill out thing. I think it used to come in with something like that, O2, somewhere at Carnivore as well. And it was just a day event, a Sunday afternoon. I think it was, what is this high school magazine we used to read? Okay, I'm forgetting. Insider. It was organized by the Insider. So there used to be, there used to be some parties organized by the Insider for free. Guys would just come in, as long as you're a high school student, you just go in and talk. So up to this day, I think I've taken the same approach. Even when I'm attending an event, I always think about what can go wrong. Not in terms of emergency, but just trying to produce the event. I produce the event in my mind. And now that helps me also in my shows. You think about how do you produce a show? And these are all skills you need, especially for us as journalists. You always have to be, if you're not thirsty for knowledge, if you're not ambitious, if you're not, if you don't go out there to search for it, it will not find you. So you really, really have to showcase yourself and just basically go out there and grab it.
Yes. Before I go to the comments, Laban, say, okay, you've raised a good an important point about networking. But sometimes it's not that the youth do not want to network; it's that they do not know how to network. I don't know how to approach Laban. I don't know how to approach Larry or the president. So give us a scenario. I've met you at Tema Box. How do I approach you? How do I talk to you? How do I ingiza you box so that I can learn from you? Give us one scenario.
So let's see. So people, first of all, they come in and then you realize somebody wants to talk to you, and then they're just afraid. They don't want to approach. This is flesh and blood. No one who's a celeb at G. They're running on fuel or something. We are humans. We're just like you. It's just an opportunity we've had. And what you have to realize is that you come and go. It's not somewhere that you're stuck. You just come and go. There's somebody else who's gonna come in much better than you, more educated than you, and stuff like that. So there's gonna be that. You get. So first of all, one thing that's what I'm telling you. It's good to know that we are journalists and we're not celebrities. You get. And you're not coming in for an autograph.
Yes.
Okay. So as I told you, remember what I said. Name of the game: confidence. 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 How do you even approach? Hey, Niaje, Bwana, Buddha, PP. I mean, if you're showcasing yourself as an entertainment journalist, that's fine. Unaweza ongea sheng, unaweza kuwa very casual and stuff. But if you're promoting yourself as a journalist, as somebody who's professional, as somebody who knows their stuff, you come and say, "Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Laban. I am a student at Strathmore. I'd like to come and learn from you." I did that with John Sibio Kumu, one of the great names in corporate MC, because I really looked up to him when he was doing I think it's called the Zain Africa Challenge. You remember him interviewing students? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zain Africa Challenge. I love his show on stage. And I said, you know what? I have to learn from this guy. Do you know what I did? I just went on LinkedIn, Facebook. Of course, you don't go in and stalk people online. You just go in and introduce yourself. Your emails should have very good English. I mean, research. Google what you're writing. Not success and soxos. You can't use that to your mentors and stuff. So it doesn't portray you as being serious, Then, of course, once you've broken the ice, then you can chill. It doesn't mean that we don't speak It doesn't mean that we don't speak Sheng. You speak Sheng. But remember, you're competing with your body. You don't want there to just come in and speak Sheng, and somebody else is gonna come in and speak very good English or Swahili and beat you to your position that you always want. So if you come into Baraza Media Lab, you come into Sema Box, you just approach, introduce yourself, and when you're saying excuse me, even if somebody was busy, they can leave what they're doing and then they can actually listen to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think those are very good points. I'll just read a few of the comments. First of all, shout out to Joy Tushabe. Joy Louis Tushabe, who has been tagging all her friends. Pascal Nobat. Who else is here? Achino Mboya, of course. There's Foster Ann. Foster Ann has a question, but before I got the question, there's Helen Shikanda who says she's learning a lot. Now, Foster Ann is asking, why do we need to cap expectation? What's the expectation from an organization's side? How fast do they expect you to learn, and how do they measure your value while ensuring your personal dreams remain in check?
Hi, guys. If you cannot learn within 3 months, as in there's just something wrong happening. Yeah, I'm just saying. So the expectation from an organizational perspective is that you can learn and learn very fast. Because first month maybe is just introduction, everything is okay and stuff like that. Second month you hit ground running, you have stories, you are among the first one in the newsroom, you're helping the editor run around the stories, getting tapes. And here I'm speaking from a broadcast TV side. If you're a writer, it can also be the same thing. Your story is in among the first ones, you're always very active. When the editor asks, is there somebody who has a question? You ask a question in front of people, let people notice you. Hey, man, you cannot go on an internship and then just sit and expect somebody to notice you. You get? And remember, you're there for free. So the expectation from an organizational perspective is that you can learn and learn very fast. That's number one. Learn and learn very fast. It's critical and it's essential. Okay. What is the other thing? So learn very fast. And the other opportunity would be to network as much as possible when you're inside the organization. Because, you might feel, I already got this job because I networked a lot. But when you get inside the organization, you now miss out or you forget about what you're doing. So there's a big opportunity to also learn and learn a lot when you're there, So what else do I want to say? Yeah, I think, and just know who are the right people to talk to. You just don't go in. Of course, you might go in and maybe like somebody, you want to date, or you're in the newsroom, you feel nice, you're like, but don't forget what brought you there. Then just go out there, know that this is the hiring manager, and just be in their good books.
Yes. Yeah. Now, speaking of learning, Lab, what is your biggest regret for this number of years that you've been working in the media industry, combined with the president's office?
I'll speak.
But in terms of professional.
Yeah, I'll speak of my experience in TV. Yes. Of course, what I do now, it's a government position. I can't speak much into it because, first of all, I don't speak on behalf of the office. I'm just part of the machinery of communications in government. So let me speak about my time at CNBC and Nation Media Group. If I went back, I would have been more of a multimedia journalist. Okay. I'd report for online.
Yes.
I'd report for TV and I'd report for newspaper.
Yes.
Yeah. So to have that converged approach. Right now, what you're seeing is, it's crazy with a different side because there are very many other things that would play out there. You might not get an opportunity to actually see all that. Oh, shout out to Helen, I see you there. So you just feel like you're just a TV person. And you feel like you're just a TV person, and this is what I'll stick to. But remember, you need to have TV, you need to have radio, something like that, So, yeah, that's a big opportunity.
Are you okay? From a professional point of view, are you encouraging us to diversify rather than specialize?
Yes, not diversify. Amalgamate. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a big word. Multimedia, combine, togetherness. You get. Don't go in at I want to be a writer. That's it. You go in and know that you can actually be on TV, however shy you are, or however, because people think, oh, the TV guys, you have to be confident and stuff like that. Yes, it's true, but confidence is not about raising your voice. You can just be very posed into how you speak, but there's a way you just gel. There's a way you just gel, Yeah.
Yes. First answer is, let me draw in some.
Okay. Okay. Let me give you an example. There is a breaking news today. Like I've seen breaking news right now. My friend Pauline Joroge has been appointed board member at tourism. The tourism, I need to tourism fund, I must say. So you break that on Twitter. It's trending on Twitter, right? So the first breaking news is break it on Twitter, break it online. In the evening news, what we expect to see is a bio of all the other board members who've been appointed into the board. You get? After that, tomorrow, we can get it on the newspaper and learn what are the other opportunities. What does the tourism fund do? You get? What do they do and why did they need a board? And why did the cabinet secretary of tourism appoint these four? So you get what I mean? That's day two journalism. So what we are being taught right now is, learn TV, that's it. And then, learn digital, that's it. And then learn newspapers, and that's it. You see, all these things need to marry. So if you're out there studying, if you're out there trying to be a journalist of the future, you have to be a multimedia journalist.
Yes. Now, interesting. Foster Ann says, let me talk to the right people, but don't give your boss unnecessary stories of how your cat poops at home. Wow. Okay, speaking on multimedia journalism, at what point is it overworking yourself? And what about people who have strengths in specific talents?
There's nothing like overworking yourself. By the way, if you have a strength in photography, you might as well use photography as a multimedia effect. It doesn't mean if you take a picture, it has to be published on like on papers or something, or publish it on Instagram. No, you could create a video and showcase, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
So the photography, you can just enhance your skills, stretch your skills. I'm saying there's nothing like overworking yourself, because in a newsroom, it will stretch you, it will mess you up if you're a lazy bone. You get? Not saying that you cannot take up. I mean, you cannot talk about overworking at a point when people are losing jobs. It's funny because the jobs are being taken away by technology. So technology is helping you sort out your problems. So overworking is out of the question. Because what it's doing is that technology is making it easier for you to deliver. So you have to get ahead with this technology and combine your skills and plug it into the machine, plugging into your camera because you're good at photography, plugging it into your voice recorder, and creating a multimedia content. You can write an article about the picture you've taken, even if it's just 200 or even it's just about 300. You get? You can create a movie with the pictures you've taken. You just combine the pictures, put a music under, and share it on social media. And it's going to trend, and you're going to have people asking you for more pictures and what have you. So there's nothing like overworking, because right now the industry is really hemorrhaging. And I'm using that word because people are losing jobs in droves. And I've spoken about it in the Future of Media podcast, and I'd really want to speak more about it. So there's a big opportunity towards enhancement.
It's in now that you brought that up, because people are losing a lot of jobs. Like some of my friends have lost their jobs when they were working for several media stations, which shall remain unnamed for now. How? Because they've been trained in media and they're not diversify their skills or amalgate their skills at the moment. Where do you see the opportunities lying, where they can where they can make their skills useful, just to earn something or enhance their craft as well?
You can go into communications. You can diversify and just get out of media and get into something else, which is what I've done. You can go into public relations. You can go into marketing. But if you still want to stick into media and you have a passion for telling the story, and I'm saying telling the story, which is like, out there in terms of just being forthright, being just that person who can go over and beyond. So my advice would be just try and meet the people you networked with, just talk to them and hear what they have to say. But also it pays to wait the storm. Of course, there's a lot about figures, about currencies, about how much you're spending. So somebody I cannot tell somebody who has a family to just go and sit at home, because you need to provide.
Yeah.
And for me, first of all, my heart goes out to you if you've lost a job and you have a family. That's quite painful, I must say. Excuse me. Sorry, bless me. In view of Corona, I must say, we are sanitized, and of course now we are far away from each other.
And we are far, thank God.
Yeah. So so there's that opportunity. There's really that chance to go out there. At times, I'll tell guys to be very unique. Find out what you're good at, even if it's so different from what you did, and just go out there and market yourself.
Yeah.
And the best place to start is from those people who you worked with while you are working. Or maybe you did help somebody do a story. Just call them and tell them, hey. The problem is some journalists, waujiona maceleb sana. Unaelewa? So naongea shen kidogo alafu tutakomena swap. Unajiona celeb sana in the sense that you feel like you're on top of the world. You don't want to network. You don't want to ask the number for like a contact who's gonna assist you. You get. And now when you're really pressed for time, it messes you up. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of time, remember, guys, we're almost coming to the close of our session. If you have any questions, please ask now before we close the session. I have one more question for Laban, which is something personal. How do you stay ahead in your professional career? How do you keep on becoming marketable?
Good question. Continuous learning. And there are free courses, man. Harvard is offering free courses. Stanford is offering free courses online. I must say, I've just finished my MBA in strategic leadership. I'll be submitting my proposal very soon. I did not just get an NTV job, or I did not just get my Gava job and stopped. So there's always continuous learning, continuous improvement, because there are always going to be somebody better than you. So you just want to make sure that you're at the cutting edge of technology and you don't miss out on something that you can actually use for the future. I'm not saying I'm done yet, and I'm still going to do, other things as well that can actually push through. So there's that approach as well. So personally, continuous learning, go back to school. Don't feel like you have a degree and you're done. And funny enough, the best thing about journalists is that there are lots of opportunities to study on scholarship for you, only that you just need to know exactly where they are. So personally, I'll say that, there's an opportunity about Chevening, for instance. Like the Chevening scholarship is going to be opened up next month. Pretty much next month. So if you can apply for the Chevening scholarship, well and good. If you're not ready to apply, you can see what they need and work towards getting a Chevening scholarship, and you study for free. So isikuje tu na ile point ya, you went to study for MBA because you have money. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, because some of us struggle, and you look for opportunities for sponsorship, and you just try and profile yourself as a candidate who can get a chance for a sponsored degree.
Yes, thank you for that. Now we have two questions, one from Mboya and one from Mushira. I'll start with Mboya. What are some of the ways to grow in our own careers? I think you've answered that. To ensure we don't remain redundant, for instance, in the media industry, and ways in which you as Laban used to grow, which is just what you've covered right now. So I think you should take the first part of the question. Some of the ways to grow in our careers.
Continuous learning, Eileen, I really proud of. In fact, I think Eileen is one of the talents. Like if I was an editor, I would have picked her up and maybe put her on a TV show somewhere and stuff. But life happens, and you have an opportunity to come perhaps on the Zero Chills TV and maybe showcase your talent. My question was, why not hosting? Eddie doing it. Why not doing a joint collabo and stuff like that? Something like that. You get what I mean? So it doesn't mean that you're locked up. There's always something to do. If you're in a career, if you're in communications, for instance, public relations, just make sure you're among the best. And I'll still go back to knowing your stuff. Just make sure you know exactly what you do and you know it so well. If you find yourself that you're not really passionate about what you're doing, just step out. Okay, I'm not saying step out in view of COVID. If you step out in view of COVID now, I mean, you're gonna lose out a lot, So just have an opportunity, have a good opportunity towards growing yourself and stuff like that. So say for instance, like if you're in comms, like Lynn, perhaps you can join the Public Relations Society of Kenya. I know journalists have the Media Council of Kenya. You can join the Public Relations Society of Kenya. A student membership fee will be something very affordable. I'm saying very affordable considering, how much guys spend when they go out. People spend a lot more. Missing a dough. And then unasikia, just to be a membership at PRSK, you just need like maybe more 2,000, 3,000 for a whole year. Come to Baraza Media Lab, come in. It's a good space for students. If you have a student's card, you get a good rate. Just for a whole year, you pay about $50, about 5,000, 6,000 thereabout, and you can use the space. You can network. There are many, many opportunities. In fact, for me, my heart goes out to anyone who's in the arts because we have those opportunities. These other careers struggle, but the problem is that the people in the arts don't talk. They don't want to work with each other. There's a lot of bad blood, and there's a lot of competition, which kind of limits that networking.
Yeah. Okay. That is true. That is true. Now, Eileen, there's a challenge out to you from Laban. Make sure you come and host the next guest.
Yeah.
And also, Laban, now that you're working at the business, mtapika kitu bana. Eileen, network with Laban.
Talent. You just make sure you keep the talent growing, and one time it's gonna meet somebody who's gonna pay you for what you're good at. So just never give up. Yeah.
Yes. And our final question today will come from Mushira. All great lessons here. Working from the office of the president, I have a genuine question. Do you think that the government has any political goodwill to create opportunities for the youth? 2, is it possible and in order to communicate to the president that most of us are disillusioned? We are really breaking grounds out here, but we feel that the government is not pro us. The government is not or has not put in place measures to safeguard us during these tough times, much less motivate us to keep going. Yeah.
I would
Mushira,
I identify with you in the sense that you're youth and you're looking towards like how can the government meet you halfway, for that matter. I'd be keen to know exactly what opportunities you mean, because if you just log into the Ministry of ICT website, note I don't work for the Ministry of ICT, Youth and Innovation, but I've moderated panels that the youth are coming in with business ideas and they're getting funding of up to 400,000 shillings in view of COVID-19. Even if they're not paying right now, the government has increased funding towards their businesses. And this is a conference call with over 200 youth who have benefited from government affairs. So Mushira maybe needs to get a bit more details, and I'm happy to, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Exactly what is your pain point? Because generalizing that the government hasn't helped the youth and assisted, I think it's going to be quite wrong. Because just log on to ajira.go.ke, www.ajira.go.ke. Look at the opportunities for the youth. And it's funny because we have the age advantage. Somebody else who's like 36 cannot even benefit from that. Because you are within the age limit, you're not taking advantage of these opportunities. Then now you decided to actually go in and then say, oh, maybe we're not getting advantage from the Ajira program. So there's the Ajira program. I'll urge you again, go to the MasterCard Foundation website. MasterCard Foundation is investing billions of dollars in Africa's youth, not even Kenya, Africa's youth. and they're looking for bankable ideas. Bankable ideas. If you want to go into farming, you will do it. If you want to go into industry, you can do it. Just try and create a bankable idea and then do it. Maybe perhaps it's an opportunity towards crafting your idea in such a way that somebody can give you money to actually progress. So, in view of this calamity, I'm just going to challenge you, Mishira, to actually do the best you can to showcase yourself, package yourself in a way that you can actually even get an opportunity out there. And then please reach out to the Minister of the PS Youth, Mr. Julius Korir. Tweet him and say, "Hi, Bona PS. My name is Mushira. I feel like the government is not doing this and this." I'm saying that because he is mandated to actually help in terms of youth and innovation. And for the last few months, we've seen what the Youth Enterprise Development Fund is doing to assist youth in businesses, especially in this pandemic. So I think there'll be more details. My LinkedIn page, which I like to network on LinkedIn because it's very professional and we can chat more. Laban-Cliff, like you can just find me on Laban-Cliff on LinkedIn, and then we can have a chat and then see how to help out. I'm not giving handouts. I'm not giving about cash, but I'm a big believer in networking. You know, like if it's about introducing you to the PS, go on Twitter and say, "Hey, Bona PS, I spoke to Laban, and this is what this is an idea I had," you know, and stuff like that.
Yes. Okay. Now, we agreed to do 45 minutes, but now the problem, the questions are coming in. How can, from Helen, how can a young journal step up and prove that they can do stuff that senior guys can and deliver without feeling small? But before you answer that, I will give you a personal experience linked to this. When I was interning at an unnamed media house, it was really hard for us young guys struggling to make our name out there in this industry, you know, to get a story even approved or to be edited. And once it went with the byline of, say, if Laban was my reporting person, it will go with his byline rather than mine. So how do you, make your name, yet when you go to the office, you are being undercut?
As in this, I mean, I think it will be a disservice for me to comment about that because I wish I knew the media house and stuff like that. I know most of the time maybe you report into a manager who's not the final authority in deciding on what goes on print. So it is, remember what I told you, like knowing who calls the shot. In every market there's a madman, yes, but also in every media house there's a person who calls the shot. There's a person who calls the shot. There's a person you can name.
Yes.
You think back on where you're working, there's a person you can name and know this was the one who decides what's the headline today. And I'm very sure you are very afraid of them and you do not even want to approach them. Not to go report your boss, but to actually tell them what you do. You see, some of you go into internship and then you get lost in the system. And you're supposed to realize that when you're in internship, you need to be among, of course, not speak too much, but be among the people who are always thought of top of mind to help out with the stories and stuff. So please remember, package yourself, make sure the right person knows you.
Okay.
Even if they don't know you in person, they should not know where you live. Even if they don't know you in person, make sure the right person knows of you. They know that you exist. You're not just sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure the right person knows you, Helen.
Knows
so
you
know who
and
to
knows
target with that.
You.
Now, know you or knows of you or knows what you do, at least in the company. Now, Muchira has come back with the rebuttal. I don't know if you want to take it. I get the Nigeria idea, but honestly, there are more barriers to realizing those opportunities.
Let's
Why
have
do
a
you
conversation.
think?
Yeah. Let's have a conversation about, because I would hate to make it like a back and forth, but I feel there's something he had applied for and then he did not get it, and maybe that's what is fueling now the I can't say resentment, but it's fueling the feedback we're getting from him. So it's just good to paint a picture. There's always a backstory to it. You know, let's start. What was the concern before? So you don't just speak, the youth are not getting help from the government. It will honestly be unfair for the many youth. I don't have the statistic, but I'm just talking about the 250 businesses that were represented on one call with the cabinet secretary of guys who benefited from
Yes.
the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. And what we actually got from the Youth Enterprise Development Fund is that there isn't any lack of it. As in, it's not like the money is not there. It's not like the opportunities are not there.
Yeah.
It's just getting the proper access and knowing the right quality of ideas we can fund or the right qualities of youth we can work with to achieve our goals. Okay, forget about Kenya. Forget about Kenya. I'm not speaking about Kenya. You might say I'm talking about the presidents. No. Look at the East African Community Youth Policy for the East Africa. So okay. Let's talk about Mushira. And here I'm speaking to you as a bro. Things have not worked out in Kenya, and I'm like, oh, I've applied for this role, I've applied for this, it's not working. I don't feel like I'm being listened to. Go to Arusha. What does the EAC have to say about the youth in East Africa? Because you're an East African youth. What does the EAC have to say about the youth? There's a policy document on how to assist the youth, and there's funding. GIZ, the German Institute, I mean, they're ready. Even if you're in the arts, you want to sing, you have an idea, go for it. Sorry, I hope I'm not preaching, but I'm just passionate about opportunities, because one thing you have is age. Yep. And just know, as soon as you've crossed the bracket for being called a youth, all these opportunities will just pass you, and you'll just say, oh, how I wish I saw this earlier, So take advantage now, because you have the advantage of age, time, the internet, use it to your advantage.
Yes. Wow. I don't think there's anything else we can add that, can top that. But before we close, I would like to thank everyone who showed up today, from Eileen, Foster Anne, Joy Louis, Mushira, and the rest. Sorry for calling you the rest, but say the Ita Kila Mtu. But before we go, Laban, this is complaining, and Diego in the background. Before we go, Laban, I want to ask you, your life growing up, obviously everyone has that moment that they're told something that alters their course or changes their life for good. What are those words that someone told you or spoke to you that changed your life to create the Laban-Cliff Onserio we see today?
Stay sharp, stay focused, all on God. Stay sharp, stay focused, all on God. And it's something we normally do. Yeah, stay sharp, stay focused, all on God. Of course, not forgetting that, we are mere beings. We are here thanks to the Almighty. So, personally, yes, of course, I harbor the passion of course, being a motorsports guy. So I love motorsport. I love speed. So I feel like it's an opportunity to stay sharp, which is remaining focused on the goal, staying focused, and keeping it up, all on God. Yeah, because we have God to thank. We are healthy, we are well. We pray that we don't contract any diseases, especially with this pandemic. So you also have to give it up to a higher being. Whoever however you call your God, it might be Allah, it can be, whatever you call your God. So just subscribe to a spiritual aspect, a higher being that you thank for the life that you lead.
Amen. Wow, that was an awesome session with Laban-Cliff Onserio, but it would be a disservice if I don't bring Yegon forward to say something. Yegon, but Laban is your guy. You can't just let him go without you telling him something.
Hi, Laban. Thank you so much for the honest conversation that you've had with us here, and the nuggets of wisdom that you've shared from your many years of experience. And one thing that I think we're a little bit similar on is just looking at the future of media and just wanting to understand and know what it will look like, and striving to acquire new skills to be able to fit in to that space, because a lot of things are changing. Right now, we've seen even like the place of the smartphone in the industry. What we are moving into, and already some people are already practicing with that, is the use of even like spectacles to film, and just it's changing perspectives in how stories are told. Probably the thing that I would want to know, and these might have been asked, or we might have omitted it, but with where you are right now, I know initially when you are at Nation, for instance, and then you have to go to State House to get some information regarding whatever is happening, even if it's like the Big 4 agenda, for instance. And now you are inside, and you know that um, in some way you have to, speak from that office. I know you said you did not speak for the office, but now I'm saying in this scenario, you are at State House, yeah? You work at the Presidential Delivery Unit. So you have to project what the PDU, what the president is doing, the Big 4 agenda, for instance. And on this other end, you have journalists, people whom you are in the newsroom together. And there might be things that, for instance, are not, how would I put it, that it makes clear sense that there are these people seeking the information, and you are on this other end. I don't know how that is for you in terms of the dynamics and where you stand. One, you are a journalist, and you need to know. You know that I know your work mantra is telling the truth first, and I know there's a line, yeah. But yeah, you have
First, get in
you
person.
have this position, and you also know that journalists are seeking the truth. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
does
I hear you.
how has for you your experience working at the House on the Hill?
So I'm just picking. This is my personal opinion, and it does not give the opinion of that of my employer. It's just my own perspective.
Yes.
This is the thing. At this point in time, it does not change. I still consider myself a journalist. It's just that I'm on a different perspective. Now, when you say seeking the truth, I can try and think about what you mean. You're trying to say, how do I even help perhaps the journalists who are trying to call out the government into telling their story, for instance? And personally, it's a question I get a lot. That's saying people always feel like there's an us and them. No, there's not an us and them. It's a shared. We're in Kenya. There's only one country. There's only one country. So wherever the journalist is working from, the story they're going to do is going to impact on how many tourists are going to visit if perhaps a figure is gotten wrong or something like that. So personally, I feel like where I'm sitting, we sit with a lot of information and a lot of access. As a journalist, I struggle getting access towards the news makers, or shall I say the news subjects, the people to interview. From where I sit, it's upon me to actually help out and connect the two. So when somebody is asking me, what exactly is the status of fighting COVID-19 pandemic, you know exactly who to call at the Ministry of Health. Because what journalists struggle with, they try and look for the number, they try and look for the contact person, and they say he was unavailable, she was unavailable for comment. That should not be the case, because we have a whole office that is actually in charge of that. Now, what people don't know is just how to get in touch with them. You get those days of getting a landline number that goes unanswered are long gone. If you just tweet the government spokesperson, they're gonna reply to you and tell you exactly what you need on the facts and the figures and the data. So it's an opportunity towards trying to also see how to help people who are, I mean, give access to the help that I don't even get. But I really hear you. I strongly feel like there's maybe a lot can be done on that. Like maybe speak a bit more, show more partnerships, so that it doesn't look like government is fighting media or media is fighting government. That is just a fallacy that is normally created. We have one country, and remember, I still insist on that synergies. Even if it's about calling out the ills in society, it's not saying you should stop writing about corruption. Write about corruption, but hey, make sure you get the facts right. How much is it? Where was it stolen or something like that? Stuff like that. So you actually have the right figures. Because what happens is that people just go with it and they say, okay, this is a scoop I have. So X billion was stolen, and you don't even know, you don't have the facts, or shall I say the actual detail, or you did not even speak to the authority in that ministry for them to ascertain what you have. So I hear you, and it's something, of course, that we work towards as we go along. And
Cool. Thank you so much. And I think that you mentioned your mantra was tell it fast, accurately, and impassively.
exactly.
Yes, and you mentioned that about the issue about corruption, and I remember Anas Aremayo Anas. He says he names, shames, and jails the bad guys. So he actually shows you who stole the money, how did they use it, whom did they steal it with, and then that eventually ends up to whoever is responsible being arrested. I think you've really spoken a lot to the fact that we need to be factual as journalists and just know our craft. And in terms of the partnerships that you've talked about, I think I'll personally reach out very intentionally about that and just how we can work together, especially on the debate about the future of media. There is something we might be starting out as mobile journalism Africa and even Zero Chills, and we'll
Good stuff.
continue to keep in touch. So thank you so much. Back to Eddie.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time as well.
Thank you.
Taking 1 hour of your Friday.
Thank you.
Okay.
No. The worthy one now. Remember, guys, my lesson for today was keep learning, know your stuff. Keep learning, but know your stuff. I don't know if Laban has anything else to say, because if I say anything else, I will dilute whatever he has said. Me nataka tu kwenda tu ni digest whatever he has said.
No worries.
So remember, reach out and network.
Yeah.
Yes, Laban.
Thank you so much. What I wish you all a good weekend. It's been amazing being here, and I'm grateful to have been on Zero Chills TV. Asanteni sana, and see you again sometime.
See you. Thank you. The honor is all ours. See you guys next Friday, where we bring you another awesome guest. Remember, sanitize, wash your hands, and keep learning. Network. Mushira, make sure you reach out to Laban.
Well,
Over
LinkedIn.
to
Cheers.
LinkedIn, yeah.